What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another round. I'm Brad Waters. I also have Wes Cup. And on this episode, we have Will Bradley and Stephen Turnbull. Will give us a little tour of Utica with some of his food and cocktail suggestions. We talk about their podcasting. We mentioned Frank Vita and some custom suits. And, of course, we have some other stories with those guys on. So check it out. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for checking us out.
Did you ever nap?
Never napped. Never napped. Almost fell asleep once, but never napped.
Passed out once, but that's different.
Great built-in DD.
Get me home, Elon.
Elon, take the wheel.
All right. Well, this is the best part about this. We'll just wing it. But give you guys a little intro here. Will Bradley and Stephen Turnbull. First of all, cheers. Thank you for
Here we go.
thank you for joining this mayhem.
Cheers.
Over the top.
Over the top.
Appreciate you having
Yeah.
us.
You know, Wes, I didn't think you were going to take a sip there. It's rude to not sip after
I think it's bad.
after a cheer.
I was lining it up. I'm a lefty drinking, and I had it in my right hand.
Oh, okay. So you had to
I
get
do the crossover.
You had to get the crossover.
Didn't want to spill it.
Understood.
Doesn't have a cable over there.
That was a great comeback, by the way.
Yeah. did you believe
That
any
was
of
a
that?
great. That was a
Thank
great BS move.
Now I'm going to double down and do another one. Okay.
All right. There it is. There it is. All right. Will, a little background on you, what you're up to, job, no job, personal life, whatever. Take it away for an elevator pitch.
Will Bradley and Bradley Real Estate. We are a family-owned and operated real estate company here in, well, we're currently in Rome, but we're based out of Utica. Well, that's the office I work out of. We also have a office in Barneveld, which I guess is the home base. Went to Holland Patton High School. Go Golden Knights.
Go Knights, baby.
Oh.
Class of '02. Fun facts about me is I almost failed out of high school, had to go to summer school, and they tested me once because they thought I was special, I guess is the best way to say it.
You are
And
special.
I then had to go to what they called the resource room for some extra special learning help. And
And look at you now.
I was going
Look
to
at
say,
me
you
now.
took
You
the
can tie
words
a
out of
bow
my
tie.
mouth.
Look at
I
me
mean,
now.
I can't even
Now,
do that.
Mom.
You know I can't.
And the reason I back that up is because I'm sure something we'll get to sooner or later in the show is I don't think all kids or people are meant for school necessarily.
Okay.
Some things you have to get out in the world, find out what you're good at, and then once you find that thing, if you can just double down on it, as Wes did earlier,
Yes.
and really hammer it, you can become good.
I like that. We'll have to
successful
unpack
at whatever
that.
you're
Yeah,
doing.
that's great.
See, I'm good at living off of my wife, off her income. So I've doubled down at that, and I've been successful.
Everybody has their thing.
Double down on
Yeah.
every aspect.
Everybody has their thing.
I'd like that thing too.
Appreciate it, Stephen. Take it.
Yeah,
Give us a.
Stephen Turnbull own T5 Insurance. We're a new insurance agency based out of Utica. I've got some family agency experience and then left in last May to start my own agency. So we're bootstrapping it. It's still me, myself, and I. We get into arguments all the time, the three of us. But it's exciting. Starting something from nothing definitely allows you to learn a lot about yourself. And it's been an exciting 10 months. Got married to my beautiful wife, Michaela, in September. So doing the agency, doing the new marriage thing, doing it all at once. So it's good. But we're a property and casualty insurance shop, so we can help with personal business insurance, stuff like that. And like I said, we're out of Utica, New York, but we do business all over the state. So
Great.
yeah, it's been exciting.
All right. Well, I mean, there's a lot of family business in this room then. I mean,
Right.
it's kind of it's a good thing. It's a
Yeah.
bad thing. You
It's
argue
an
with yourself a
interesting
lot.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll
Right.
get some family blowups. We can get into that or not get into that later. We've
Yeah.
had some myself. I don't know if you've had any major blowups in your.
No,
guys are-
we're very peaceful.
Is it because it's a wine thing?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah. 'Cause
Got it.
there's
Just grab another
medicinal
bottle. Just an
booze.
issue. Just
Medicinal
grab another
booze in
bottle,
that.
you're good to
yeah.
go.
Well, I got a question. I have to ask. When I think of Barneveld,
Yeah,
I think of Hotel Moore.
classic.
Any tough
Classic.
nights in there for you?
Many tough mornings in there too. It's
The reason why he's asking because we love the good bar train on the way from Old Forge back to Rome, and we've come across some new ones during COVID. Or because the bridge was out, or whatever. We have different
scooters jumped
in
into our
in
life.
Forest
Scooters is a
Port.
heck of a
Legendary.
place.
Wigwam.
So of
Wigwam.
course, going through Barneveld, we had to make a left turn into the parking lot back there. Bigger than I thought.
Yeah, I'll tell. It's quite spacious in there.
It is.
Yeah, there's a nice shuffleboard table in there. Too. Got foosball, darts. What more do you need?
Future advertiser now. We just blew them up. That's a great spot in Barneveld.
Oh my God, they have so many people knocking at their door now.
Only standing room. Benny's. Go to Benny's next.
Yeah, Benny's, HP.
Yeah. My
Oh, yeah.
question would be, with all these family businesses, have any of you been fired before from the family business?
Well, I fired myself, I guess.
We'll have to unpack that too.
We really got to get into that. I'm like, I gotta
That's
ask.
called quitting, Steven.
You've been fired, haven't you?
I was fired multiple times. I worked for my dad before I worked for my mom, and I guess that is, the failing my way forward is he fired me so many times. Eventually, I just didn't go back the last time. And then my mom hired me, so that was nice.
I haven't. I know my father was fired, I think, once or twice before during his 45-year stint here. But George was a captain, so he wasn't going to take any crap back. So, but no, I don't think so. At least not to me. He might have been to my mom saying, "This kid is killing
It's
me."
hopeless.
Another
Helpless.
thing, I think the interesting part about the family business conversation is it takes someone who's in it to understand it.
100%.
Yeah.
And if you're not or have not had experience with it, you just don't get
Well,
it.
and the thing that I think helped me is that we ended up having to buy out my father's siblings. So it was really the previous generation that had to go through a lot of it. And I think if they were still here, it would have been, one, I don't know if we'd still be around if they were. So we ended up having to buy them all out because I didn't understand what our mission was as a local media company. And, hey, we're losing our profits. We didn't even have profits. Like, well, I know, but we're here for the community. Without us, it's not good. And so we ended up putting up some pretty good money to say, this could be for operations, but we need you out of here. And I think that actually helped the relationship between my father and I, because we just got rid of all the headaches,
a lot of noise
the
on the
noise,
side.
and we can concentrate on a mission. And our skill sets are different too. In your I feel like in your industries, like you kind of have the same skill set. And here, I'm more of a business guy, advertising guy, circulation. He was more of a tech guy, writer.
Right.
So we had our own lanes and respected that, which I think was a savior of our. I've been doing this for 12 years now, and only a few blow-ups. We haven't killed each other yet. We both love bourbon too. So again, alcohol.
There you go.
Just comes back around to that.
I think you touched on something there that makes a really good point. And my dad and I didn't work is because you can't have two chiefs in one canoe with two different visions for what they want to see the company become. With you and your dad doing it with a unified vision and bringing in different skill sets, you were able to thus succeed. But you had to get rid of people who didn't have the vision first.
Yeah, it was. It was worth it. It's kind of a do or die thing, right? You see the price tag on what we had to pay out. They could have gone to investing in journalism, but we're like, well, if we don't do this, there might not be any journalism anyway.
There'd be no investing.
There'd be no investing anyway.
Nothing to
So
invest
that
into.
was that was kind of and that wasn't that long ago. That was probably 6 years ago.
Yeah. I think for me, I got saved by the seasonal business too. I think
good
by the
point.
time you kind of get frustrated with each other,
You just go
it's
cocktailing for
November,
the next 3 months.
and in the golf business, not a lot goes on between November and April 1st.
Be surprised.
Not here, at least.
At least not around here. So we're often saved by the bell there, by the falling leaves and the snowflakes coming.
That's fair.
Yeah.
How involved was he though? Because I can't remember the full timeline, but this was, when did you buy it? How old were you when you ended up buying your father out?
30.
And when did you join the company?
I was 14.
You were kinda doing it
I
from
was
there.
mowing greens and I was 14
Yeah.
and doing it as a little summer
And I
gig.
think
Yeah.
so. The reason why I said that, because 30 is a good transition point. And where some families butt heads is when the next gen starts getting 35, 40, 45, and there's no clear transition.
Do you know what that just comes down to, though, with
Yeah.
every family business? Communication.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh,
how
yeah.
old are you?
28.
Yeah, so I was 33. That was when I left.
kind of in the, it's all kind of making
Yeah.
sense.
So, yeah. You kind of get into that.
Well, because you gotta go to college or whatever, and you come out and you think you know everything, but you don't.
Right.
And then you get some experience, and then you think you know everything, and you probably still don't. But at that point, you're sick of it anyway. And
Right.
so I was nice. My father and I, it took us probably 6 months to come up with the deal to find a fair price that both could somewhat live with for the golf course. It was very friendly, no animosity or anything, but we both wanted to do it right. I didn't want to pay a whole lot. He wanted to get out at the right dollar amount. We came up with a fair market value. I mean, I don't really think I got much of a discount at all, but I did know that I could make a buck there and raise a family there, and it was a good place to be. So it was worth it for me.
There you go.
But I mean, everything's different. It just depends where you are and what business sector you're in.
Yeah.
And the position you're in.
All that stuff.
Yeah, to your point right there,
yeah.
you said, it just made sense for me. I saw the vision. Like, that's exactly why I ended up going off on my own. It was just the timing thing. Were there blow-ups and all that? Sure, we don't need to get into any of that. But it's like, at the point I was in my life, I've worked in the business for 6.5 years, and there were things that I wanted to do. And like you said, with different visions and different strengths and weaknesses that I was just not able to do if I was able to do it now on my own. Right. So,
Sure.
And, point in my life, it was just me and my fiance at the time was my now wife. It's like, we don't have any kids to feed. It's like, this is when we're going to bootstrap and figure it out.
It's easier to take risk when it's you to fail.
Yep.
And we've talked about this a little bit. It's harder to fail when you have other people and when you have other players to make sure there's a dividend paid out or a profit paid out or you got to support the kids and you got to run a family. It starts weighing more and more. I was like, oh shit, did I make the right move here? But I think that's a great timing.
Right.
Why not?
Right.
I think there has to be a choice because I actually didn't. Because leaving construction, I didn't go and become successful in real estate. I was pretty useless for like the first year of my real estate career. I joined my mom as a team. They have these real estate teams, and I was so useless that she kicked me off it. So.
That's pretty useless.
It's pretty useless when your mom kicks you off because she was always the one getting me hired back at the construction company. So my son's born, and one day this is why I love podcasts. I'm driving down the road thinking about, is this being a stay-at-home parent is super, super fucking hard. It's the hardest thing I think I've ever done. I did it for 3 years and had 2 kids. The last year home with me, and they've been to every part of a real estate transaction. But about his first birthday or so, I thought I have to do something in life to show him more when he gets older. And I decided, I wonder if I can find a podcast and learn how to become really good at real estate. And I got incredibly lucky because the first podcast I came across did just that. The host told you everything you need to be successful at real estate. 2 years later, that host became my coach, coaches our company currently. And last year I finished 5th in the market as an agent. And if it wasn't for that decision, making the decision that I wanted more from my life, never would have happened for me. I probably would still be a loser.
Useless to 5th.
Yeah, useless to 5th.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is.
There's the name of the episode right there. Useless to 5th with Will Bradley.
You always need that tagline.
Although if you ask my son Anderson, being
what's
5th
your
sucks too.
There's a will, there's a way is your tagline. Why are you not using the useless to 5th?
Useless to 5th. I don't think anyone wants to be 5th either.
People will certainly ask
when
about
I'm
it.
first, I'll start using it. Useless to 1st.
Useless to 5th, because 5th ain't that bad. That's the full title.
I don't know.
We'll work on it.
We'll work on that one.
I don't think they're printing that in the Sentinel anytime soon.
They don't let me write any headlines here. I don't know why. It's
So
mystifying.
One thing I think that's
befuddling.
interesting about that though, Will, was you had the realization that you had to do that, and then just put yourself out there to find the resources to do so, and to publicly thank him again because I've thanked him multiple times. Will is the one who pushed me to hire a business coach. And starting my business, I'm like, geez, I don't want to take down that expense right now. Like, I'm just going to do X, Y, and Z. And like, I had the holy crap, this is like what I need. And to the point, like I did the research and found the guy, and like, here's who I am, let's go. And he's dragged me through it. And we work, consistently, like Will said. But in any aspect of your life too, if you have the realization of what you got to do, just put yourself out there and find the resources. I've found this group of 6, I think you and I talked about this with other people you've talked to across the country that are in your field too.
Yep.
I've developed this group that we meet on a weekly basis with 6 agency owners that have started in the last 2 years or less. And the power and just the conversations from that group to surround yourself with people who get it, again, like are doing exactly what you do. And anytime I talk to people about that group of people, I say, the best part about it is we're all on the same escalator. We're just on different steps. So, I could be a few steps back and say, hey, Will, did you come across this? Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
and just
fast tracks them. Yeah.
And I mean, that's in business, of course, but in any aspect of your life, if you see something that you want, just have the conversation. Don't be afraid to try to get out there, find the podcast, find the mentor or whatever it is. Because I mean, mentorship in general, that's an amazing conversation too. Just put yourself out there to get that information. You know?
Yeah, and I kept hearing when I first moved into the publisher president role, like I kept hearing it from our accountants, and they don't work with us anymore, but some other ones that we did, I was like, it's lonely at the top. You need to do it. It doesn't have to be. You know, you can have that support group, and we've been talked about before on this, but yeah, having a core group of, I got to send a quick text out to get the answer quicker, or to avoid making mistakes that other people. We're not reinventing, you know, things here. No. All right, you know, insurance company. You can start a media company, insurance company, real estate company. There are guidelines that will at least get you to a point where you're functioning.
Right.
And this kind of goes back to what you were talking about education. That there's so much out there now. You get stuck in YouTube and podcasts. You can go down that rabbit hole for hours, days, years.
Yep.
It's and not saying that you know, I think the school should, you know, the elementary, junior high, high school is important. They set the base, but after that, you know, you can do anything.
Yeah, being self-taught.
Self-taught
is very
is,
easy
yeah.
these days. Yeah,
It's and also that's why I don't mind my kids watching TV as much these days. The stuff they watch. I mean, the vocab and the counting and the colors and everything they can learn just for some of these new programs, like that can apply to any age group.
Well, Baby Einstein's a scam. That's just a marketing ploy. But I do see what you're saying. Well, Embiid, who's going to be the MVP of the NBA, I mean, he learned his jump shot on YouTube, he just said.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's YouTube University is one of the best places I learned from. And I think it's a few things. One, are you learning something you're interested in? Because when you're interested in it, you're going to put so much more effort and focus on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is it entertaining? Right?
Yeah.
So many of these people teaching are so much more entertaining than a lot of them. I mean, I did have a couple great teachers, but a lot of it was boring. Sitting there for that long, just watching somebody else talk is tough. You know, in YouTube, you don't like the video. It's, all right, let's get to the feed, find somebody else I like.
It's quick. Yeah.
I'm learning to free ski from it right now. And this weekend, I'll be throwing my first 360. And the only reason I'm doing it is because the boys want to learn. So my wife's like, well, don't you got to teach them. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Well, go to YouTube.
You're going to be throwing up 360s? This is amazing.
Did a 180 last weekend. Going to complete the rotation, try to slide some rails. I'll let you know.
You know, we're always looking for content on yoursentinel.com.
Yeah.
So if you have anything good,
I'd tell you what, if Brad's good at editing this, you can throw it in right now of your
look up here.
I'll have her.
We need video evidence, or else it did not happen.
It's one of those things. It's interesting because I was always terrified. Like I grew up ski racing, but park skiing always terrified me. I don't know why. I can't explain it. Just always did. And when I finally did like a 180, it was like all of a sudden it was like whatever I thought existed in the world before that pertaining to park skiing just was like, and just a weight lifted, and it was like, all right, I can do this. I might not kill myself.
Well,
wait yet.
We'll see. We haven't had the 360 yet, so
that's coming.
Stay tuned.
That's coming.
Just make sure Melanie's watching, so at least someone's there, so you're not just laying in the snow for
Flag
hours.
down
Yeah, I'll have her video it.
Okay, perfect. Even better.
He's gonna cut it in.
Yeah. Front page.
I will say it goes well either way. You land a 360, it's great. Yard sales are just as good to show, though. So
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And that's kind of life, right? Sometimes you have to do some yard sales before you nail the trick.
Sure.
Wow. I like this.
Profound.
It is. And if Gwyneth Paltrow's out there, watch out. All right.
Oh, wow. Look at you pulling that in. She won, though. Apparently it wasn't her fault.
That trial was. Did you see any of that?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that trial, but just because I had nothing else to watch.
So what were they saying? They couldn't go to wine tastings. What was the part of the thing? Part of the case? Someone got hurt, and then
I didn't watch it that closely.
It caught the headline.
God.
That was part of the suit. Is they couldn't go to wine tastings, enjoy wine tastings as they once would. So
now I know where you're going. Oh, I see where you're
of-
going. The credibility thing. So Gwyneth's team was saying that, he was smiling. He's been hiking. He's been doing all this stuff, and because he's trying to say that it's ruined his life. Right. This accident.
What happened? I don't know anything
now
about
we're
this.
diving
Please educate myself and the millions of listeners out there.
I actually can't even remember the name of who was suing her, but
Bob.
We're gonna go with Bob. Gwyneth Paltrow allegedly ran into this guy on the mountain, took him out, had all these major ailments from the accident. She didn't stop; she just took off. It was basically like a hit and run of skiing. That's what they
was a thing.
I didn't know it was.
It's like the pipe versus Will Bradley. Pipe jumped right out in front of him.
Gwyneth Paltrow should have just leaned over and gone, "Move, bitch, get out the way."
But we didn't need to dive too deep into that. But it was. I didn't even. It's just because it's Gwyneth Paltrow. This is anybody else. They're telling her to
Yeah.
or to that guy to just learn to ski better. Go up back on the bunny hill.
Right. Get out of the way.
Stay on the green circles.
It's a dangerous sport.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous sport.
Wes doesn't do it. I love it.
I did it one time. I was 12, 4-hour pass, Woods Valley.
Classic.
Seems like it's
That's
been
very
seared
specific.
into- I know.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about
Yes.
this? Yeah, go ahead.
Are
I
we
told
on-
Brad he needs to get a couch like
we uncovering
therapist,
something here? We got to book better.
I did all
therapy.
right. I did all right. I mean, people in front of me on the chair spilled, falling off it, so I had to avoid them, and I did.
Near-death experiences.
All I knew about skiing before that was that you just you see on the Olympics. So I just just straight tucked and bombed the bunny hill.
Oh my.
I didn't know what I'm supposed to do.
Wes, point to where the lift up touched you.
Well, how long do we have?
By the way, we're still looking for counsel for this podcast.
There should be a lot of edits.
But I did survive. I had snow pants on. 'Cause I wasn't very cool. That was part of it.
I feel like you would have the bright pink snow pants
No, I
with
had,
the retro.
And then I saw
60s.
friends who do skiing for real, and they're like, "What are you doing wearing that?" I'm like, "Oh God, this sucks."
Well, you were in jeans, so that's something.
That was something.
That's something.
That's
So that's my skiing career.
And this-
you ever
this-
you ever have moments like that where you show up and you realize you're the dork?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it happens. not when Brad's around.
Believe it or not, so I knew he was smart. We met 5-6 years ago at the chamber. Knew he was a pretty bright guy, but I didn't know he was American, top of his class, smart, And he has the and you can handle yourself out, haggling, betting, the whole, you're just.
Oh, I had a great upbringing in the
Yeah, I was gonna
gambling
say,
department.
yeah.
There's no question
No,
about
no.
that. I grew up in a bar, so I anything you want, any horses, what do you want to do? Here we go. We got it.
there's a boat race going on. What's in?
Yeah, I'm getting action anywhere. But I tell you what, today, you guys get best dressed of podcast history right now. How do you feel about that?
Fantastic. Brought to you by Frank Vita.
Oh, okay.
The Frank Vita special, right? Well,
Frank Vita special. Frank Vita's men's clothier. If you're in need of a suit, any
I like
kind of fine garments, or just life advice, go see Frank Vita at Frank Vita Menswear.
yes. I took a first timer there last week.
Was it shocking to them?
Oh, I warm a little bit.
I think we talked about this at the Utica
Yeah.
office. I was
Frank-
I need a guy, and
Frank-
he-
Oh, he's
I need
the
a
guy.
local guy.
He's
Frank-
the guy.
I got a New York City guy. I need a local guy.
I had a feeling Frank
Wait, you
would
have a
come
New York
up,
City
so
guy?
I did some thinking.
Oh, God.
Mr. Ned in New York City.
I
We
did
don't
some
have to go there.
thinking about how to portray Frank, and the thing about Frank is its own world in his store, and
That's
a
a great
lot
way
of
to put
people
it.
come into that world, and Frank runs the world like the Wizard of Oz. Only there's no curtain; it's just Frank. And the things you can learn while just sitting there is probably better than a college education. I bet you'd learn more sitting in Frank's store for 4 years than you would at any school in the country.
So you're telling me I need a Frank beat reporter just sitting there on the couch
That
in,
would-
in the
you should have
shadows.
your own section
I
in the
don't
paper.
think Frank would let
Absolutely.
him in. There's too much information exchanged.
Maybe just blew the spot up. We just needed one of those anonymous columns.
Let's just put it this way: they're not making them like Frank anymore.
No, they're not.
I'm excited now. Oh, you know what? You need a tux.
Perfect.
Have I told you about
We-
Frank Vita? Frank
we-
Vita's menswear.
We need to get you a tux. I'm bringing you to big kid events now. So
Oh,
we need
no.
Wow, this is exciting.
No,
real boy,
no,
Mom.
we
no.
need to
No,
we need to
no.
expose Wes to a custom tux.
No.
We're getting him a tux.
Might be a fashion show podcast.
Yeah,
coming up.
we're gonna have to
I
carry
like
this.
that. We
We're
should
gonna
do
have
it
to
live
Yeah,
from
we
Frank
need-
Live.
Vita's
Yeah.
men's
on the
clothier.
road. Another
I'm-
round on the
I'm so
road.
excited. It just needs to happen.
That's done. We'll set it up. I took this first timer down there, and Frank is a fantastic guy, but he certainly doesn't like when the spouses come to offer their opinion.
Let's not say yes to the tux.
Yeah, let's say it that way. I think that's the best way I can.
Because
put
Frank
it.
tells you what tux.
This is what you're taking. This is what you're buying.
So this friend of mine, Mike, he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stop at your office too. We had to talk about something else, and then we'll walk down because I'm right around the corner from Frank." Like, perfect. So Mike shows up, and his lovely girlfriend shows up too. So I'm like, "Okay, great." So we're looking ready to go. I'm like, "You going with us?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I was gonna go." I'm like, "Okay." I Just here's a little warning. Here's your script, okay? And I'm like, there's a chair right to the left, a black chair. You're gonna want to walk in, say hello, and just sit right to the chair. So 3 of us walk in. Frank's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, this is who I told you about. He needs a tux for this event. And he goes over, shakes her hand. Hi, sweetie, how you doing? Sit down right there. right, like it was planned.
It's funny you say that because I was in there the other day and a young kid came in to get a suit for the prom, and he also brought his +1. And they walked in, and they're standing there, and I just looked up at her and go, I'm sitting in the chair to the right. I go, you can just have a seat right here.
Must be an experience if you're bringing a +1 to these things.
Yeah, I think they think they're going to need some sort of input, and they don't realize Frank
Color,
doesn't want
material.
input.
Frank is just
Frank
running the
doesn't
show.
want
Because
a
whatever
single
input,
bit
he's
of
like,
input.
no, we're absolutely not doing that.
No,
So-
no. He does not care for modern trends either of the short, the high pants,
Pant leg,
short
yeah.
ankles,
Yeah.
pant
Oh,
legs.
okay,
And
yeah.
actually, I think it was a mistake because these are the only ones that aren't cuffed. Otherwise, you're getting a 1-inch cuff every time.
All right. Well, I mean, the guy knows his stuff. How
He
can you?
does.
He's the man.
His dad is like real high up in Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, he's the VP of Purple Label.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Frank used to run the factories, or they ran the factories. I don't know if it was them, Frank, how it worked out. He could tell us, but in Ohio, and I think then in Syracuse, that made Brooks Brothers, Ralph Lauren. I think when the factory shut, that's when Ralph took Frank Vita Sr. and put him in charge of Purple Label. Or
Senior
VP, or however
did
it works.
Ben Affleck's tux for his wedding, right?
Yeah, and Chance the Rapper, he's in his Met Gala Instagram video. You'll see.
I told Frank the
Wow.
other day, and I said, "You're doing
You gotta
Stephen
unpack
Turnbull
this.
and Will Bradley, Frank. What more do you want?" Forget about the Affleck and Chance the Rapper. Come on,
We're gonna have to.
I'm
have-
excited
yeah,
for
we
this.
have to
Who
have
needs-
Frank
is
on
We're
this gonna
this.
be
taking a
their-
field trip.
This is gonna be the podcast on the road.
Yep,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, and he has alcohol there too, so
Can-
that'll be convenient.
Can we give play-by-plays as?
And we'll say, Frank, sit right here in this chair, talking to this mic.
Exactly. Tell him where to sit.
Yeah.
"Oof."
The most dangerous part is Will's office is only 2 doors down, so
That's
I at
why
least
my
have to-
office is there.
I at least have to drive there.
I went, met Frank, and realized how much was going on in his shop and who was coming to his shop. And then I decided we're going to put our office right next door.
Mhm.
And we did.
Hmm.
And Frank told me how to negotiate the lease, what to do, how much money to put into it, all this stuff. And he was right about it all.
I love it.
Yeah, we got to take a field trip.
Now I feel like we're boring guests. We should have had Frank Vita on this podcast today.
No, I mean, telling that story, that's great. I mean,
You guys are just warming up the room for Frank. Frank, come on in here.
well, I feel like that's how it is, and you alluded to it. So New York City, you have to like know people that like brings you in, right? He doesn't advertise. He doesn't say like, hey, you got not, you know. So I met you guys, and now I know Frank. You know, that's how I found my guy in New York City. I knew somebody that, hey, you should go here, so I went there. You know, it's like you got to trust these guys. You want to know the in of these guys, and Frank's the guy.
My guy in New York. It's not like a drug dealer, but no, it's a
Everybody's
suit
got
guy.
a guy. You know, it's a suit guy.
Everyone needs a guy for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Especially a suit guy if you're doing a lot of business type stuff or if you want to dress a certain way. If you have a bad suit guy, you can spend a lot of money on things that you will not look good in. It'll just be a waste. And no one likes to waste their money.
So is he doing the ties too, or like what's the? I mean, you pull off a bow tie better than most.
Thank you. Bow ties are my April look. I don't know why every year I
okay.
actually noticed it when I looked back. You know, Facebook gives your history. For some reason, April, I just start wearing bow ties for like a month. And then not till maybe.
But that's a
4th of
real
July
tie
events.
too. I do the clip. I'm not.
That's the real
I
deal right
can't-
there.
Yeah, that's real, and that's good. That's like well done too. I've seen.
Thank you.
You get the respect of a real one, but they can't pull it off because it wasn't done
Brought
right.
to you by YouTube University.
No, my grandfather. He, you know, that's the other thing. The effect of like people in your life maybe not directly have on you, but growing up, my grandfather always wore suspenders, and he wore a bow tie, and I don't know why, but that was seared into my brain of that is how a businessman looks. Like, and that's someday I'm going to dress like that. I'm going to have suspenders and I'm going to wear a bow tie. I don't know why, but that stuck in my head, and that's what I went with. And I think, and I've talked to a lot of millennials, people in that kind of age range. Grandfathers seem to have had a real impact. And I don't know if that works for every generation, but I feel like grandfathers, for some reason, have a bigger impact on you than your dad a lot of times.
Interesting. I'd agree.
Yeah.
I was younger though. Let's see, I think my grandpa Turnbull I was 5 or 6, but my grandpa Woolridge, I was until about 11th grade in high school. So I think you maybe get to a point where you realize you got to cherish these memories, right? And the experiences.
It's that
I would agree with you.
The finiteness of the time you have left. Things start becoming more and more important.
Time is a funny thing.
That happened with kids for me, because like before I would do some some stupid shit here and there, and I didn't honestly I didn't care about dying. It was like, hey,
this one's just when this got dark.
Well, because like as you get older, you get more responsibilities. Like I didn't care. I don't care. I mean, you live it up. If there's no one, obviously parents, whatever. But then you get married, but then you have kids, and it was like, actually, I'm thinking. I just thought about the reason I thought about it was like a week ago. I was like, man, I would really miss these guys. Like it's just like because you're still growing them, you're setting them up for their future, and that was the point. I was like, oh wow.
God, I'm the other way. Now I've got 3 kids. I'm like, Jesus, what am I doing?
I'm gonna agree with you on this one because I had a moment the other day where I was competing in a CrossFit competition, and had I done more serious training, we wouldn't have been second. We would have won. And they were there cheering me on, and I thought to myself, I don't want them to see the efforts I make to be kind of just enough. I want to do the best of my ability every time. That's what I want them to see, because often kids will do what you do, not what you say. So I want them to put their best efforts forward every time. And since then, I've been training a lot harder, eating better, sleeping more, feeling better, spending better time with them, and I see their efforts in everything going up.
So you're seeing the tangible results. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, look what you posted today with Anderson.
Yeah.
Using the treadmill after Melanie was. They watch you.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. He wants to go to CrossFit every morning, but I have him sleep in. I do take him on Saturdays before we work out. He does a workout, and then he just started a Peloton, does like challenges. So he's doing the April challenge. He's got his own little leaderboard name, and he likes high-fiving people. He favorites his little favorite songs. And this morning he's talking about, I want to be first. I want to be first every time. Feels the best to win. He's like, I don't want to be last. He's like, you could be the middle, but that's like being first and last.
But you're right, because I was just like, Bryce is my oldest at 3, and he's like, we're gonna go get healthy downstairs, which means mom's gonna go work out downstairs. He's never said that to me, and I was like,
where are we going?
I was like, okay. I was like, I guess you're right. He sees her working out, and he's like, I want to go down and work out too. And of course, now I'm working out too because I was.
That gets you.
Dad can't not be.
I can't be there. And then you got this guy that runs 5 miles every day. My wife is on the Peloton and working out every day, and I'm like, oh, God.
You need different friends.
I know.
That's and that's the other thing I was going to touch on when you said the thing about it's lonely at the top. I actually think it's lonelier at the bottom, because a lot of people you're friends with will only be friends with you because of your circumstances. But as you become a higher level performer, you're friends with people who have a lot more similar interests, who are thinking the same way, doing the same things. And I think, sure, there's less people up there, but you're going to have tighter relationships when you're up there.
That's true. I mean, relating to our support groups, if I didn't have them 5-6 years ago, I don't know if I'd be the president of this company.
100%.
Because there's some that are small, but there are a couple in that group that are very big. It's similar age as mine. I'm like, man, we can figure this out.
Yeah.
Like, and you almost like don't want to disappoint them because of how close you get. And same thing working with you, bringing you on board. It's you're very successful in many different groups, and it's like when you have people to disappoint, it just pushes you that much harder.
Oh,
and surrounding yourself with successful people is just infectious.
Mm-hmm. I mean, similar to the group that I've set up for the insurance thing. Will and I have been in a group at a gym. We were talking about Greg Manicola is in it with us. It's 5 or 6 of us that we have our workout at 5 a.m. on Fridays. We meet at 6 after, and it's the same thing about we go in there, we have a binder and say, this is what we're going to do this week. And then if you come back and say, I didn't do it, it's like, why didn't you do it? Mm-hmm. You said you're going to do that. And to your point, there's 5 guys sitting around here like, you just disappointed us.
Mm-hmm. Did you do the 2-week diet as well in that group? Like apparently,
Greg,
I've been on like the 3-year diet with Mohawk Valley Wellness.
I think Greg was just trying to duck us.
Okay. He's such because
he's on the meatitarian diet.
Yeah, he's doing something crazy.
Yeah, he was doing something.
Have any booze.
He
was like
phase 1 or something.
We got the Heisman like 6 times in 2 weeks.
Yeah, he was doing the no fun diet. I think is what it's called.
Yeah,
that's what they
yeah.
called it.
No, I
That was the working
declined.
title, at least.
I respectfully declined that diet.
Yeah, you and I both. I've been on like the 3-year plan.
Yeah, well,
I just go for the networking, really.
Well, one of the
legends of industry.
one of the guys I want to bring on here is Bob McHale, just because he's one of my flight instructors, and he flew the last B-52 out of Griffiths.
You fly planes?
Yes,
Not very well.
I'm still around.
This is a time in his life where he wasn't worried about dying. Remember?
It kind of
He flies a lot better now.
bounces and lands like this. It's fine.
No,
It's
no,
close
no,
enough.
no. I'm a great pilot.
Do you still fly?
So right before actually COVID and kids happened at the same time for me. So I had 45 hours. I was ready to get tested by the FAA, go through everything, and then had a kid. COVID happened, and I've been flying here and there, but in order to go through the test, it's something that I would want to commit to for 3 weeks. Just like, all right, hey, have one of my guys just kind of commit to it. It's just you gotta push a lot of things to muscle memory because there's a lot of things happening, and until you're just in the cockpit and just doing it, it's tough to kind of like just get back into it. That's why it's so regulated. Like you have to have so many takeoff and landings within 90 days. Like there's all these things that
Makes sense.
that have to happen. And people get scared of the small planes and stuff, but there are so many regulations out there these days, and like the stuff you have to follow and the med stuff you have to pass. And like it's one of the safest industries out there in travel. You're more likely to die on the way to the airport than in a plane. So
Right.
I learned that from Dumb and Dumber. It's one of the lines.
Is
He's
it?
driving the limo,
Yeah.
getting trapped from the gas truck. That's the worst. Yeah.
Oh
remember
yeah,
that?
that's right. Yeah, yeah. Right. And when he's in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, you've never gone 8 hours without a drink anyway. That's why you can't fly. What are the rules?
That's impressed. 8 hours bottle the throttle.
Oh, I didn't know there
8
was
hours
That
a
is
cool
the
rhyme
throttle.
with that
Yeah.
too. That's lovely.
Yeah.
8 hours bottle
Look
of
at Will's
throttle.
face.
Tells you how much those are.
That's the only. That's the only thing you studied out of that book.
I know. Knowing some of those pilots, though, that might not be long enough.
8 hours bottle to throttle.
No, it's great. No, I love it. I really want to somehow figure out how to be a part of aviation, and I've been doing research constantly to see what it takes to get a charter company out of here or whatever it may be. Talking with companies to see if somebody wants to go in on a partnership or whatever it may. Because it's just a fun it's a fun community. You get $100 burgers, they call them. There's a lot of airports that have small restaurants on them. You fly in, you have a burger, you fly out. It's just a cool thing. And the more that you travel in the Northeast, you can get. We were just talking. Going to Pittsburgh sucks from here. Syracuse to Pittsburgh or Rome to Pittsburgh is hard. It's either
you
a
can't fly there directly. You
it's
can't
a 6-hour drive
without going.
or it's a
zigzagging.
5 to 5.5 hour flight because you got to go through DC or Detroit or whatever to get there. And if I had my license, it would take me about an hour and 50 minutes to 2 hours to fly just out of this backyard to one of the airports in Pittsburgh. So
First world probs.
first word pops.
Yeah.
But I just love it. It's just a fun community. It's a challenge, which is also why I like it. I get and when I was flying, even as a student pilot, I can fly alone. When you're just flying and it's just you and you got Sirius XM radio playing and you're just like flying across the Finger Lakes. I go that way and just like it's such a zen moment. It's like you get to just forget about what's going on and just kind of and take it in. It's kind of like I don't know if anybody scuba dive or anything, but that's kind of another sensation that you get. Like you can't talk to anybody. It's just you. You're just kind of floating through the currents, and like those situations I really like.
It
There's so much.
It forces you to pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah,
too, which is,
and that's the thing. Yeah,
Else.
you're there's so much stuff going on in our days and stuff we wish we could forget about but can't. But there's certain things that I can do that kind of like for a moment I can flip the switch and just be in that moment instead of worrying about other things. But
I think Brad needs therapy too.
yeah, well, we all do.
It's like the pressure of those activities, though. Like things go wrong.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah. You have no choice.
It's not so
but to-
relaxing anymore, is it?
Yeah, no,
Very
and
unrelaxing.
that's the thing. When you're a good pilot, you realize you have to be. You know whether you should be going up in the air right now or not. And when you're going through the checklist, one of the checklists is really yourself. Am I in a good state of mind? Do I feel good? Am I, that all that stuff is real. Because you do have to be. Something can go wrong. You can lose an engine. You can't. You just got to be able to get in that state of mind to be fine. So
You've had any issues?
no. You practice them though. I mean, you'll be out first time. Or I was probably 20, 25 hours in. instructor reaches over and pulls the engine, says you can't use it where you're going. You know, so you trained for
Unprompted,
those.
just
Yeah, he's just like I'm just So he's like you just lost the engine. Where are you going? Where are you landing?
We're
What
going down.
field? You know, but it's I love talking to people about aviation, especially the small planes, because people kind of freak out even with the big stuff. But the training we do, and of course there are some pilots as you grow up, you're like, nah, I probably won't fly with them anymore. But you know, if you're a pilot, you've gone through your training, you've done the work. You know, if an engine goes out, guess what? You don't fall out of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
You have time to figure it out. Am I landing in that cornfield? Am I flying to this road? You practice that on a regular basis. Even when if I was to go from here to Pittsburgh every 30 minutes, I'm going through my head, hey, if an engine goes out here, I'm landing there. You know, that's just stuff that's always going on. So the training is amazing. It's a great experience. I know you're trying to get your kids up in the air. It's just a cool, because we've done some small flying. I've introduced him to the small aircraft world, and it's just fun.
It's kind of like Will going from a Tesla back to a gas vehicle now.
Wait, we gotta going back.
He just doesn't know how to drive a real car anymore. Elon was driving him around, and now all of a sudden he's got a gas.
What's
driver
the play?
again.
You went Tesla, and now you're back.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah. I got.
didn't fit in Barneville, New York, or what?
That's exactly it.
No charging stations at Hotel Moore?
They kept calling the cops on him. Who is this guy here?
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly this is stolen.
I got.
Exactly. Some guy in bow ties and a Tesla's driving around. Call the cops again. He's back.
Yeah, I got rear-ended on Black Friday over on Commercial Drive, and because of how the Model X is built, you get a hard hit, you're basically scrapping it.
And this is why your car insurance is going up, folks.
You know, that's why someone else's car insurance is going up, folks.
Everyone else got paid for it.
Yeah. So
Oh, I never heard that.
Yeah.
That angle.
yeah, because however the support structure goes down, YouTube it. Yes,
I'm gonna have to.
University.
So in the beginning of the year, my wife and I had sat down and done like a family plan. Like, what do we want to do as a family this year? What do we want to achieve? How do we want to spend our free time? And most things were outdoor related activities, whether it's skiing, camping, hiking, kayaking, canoeing, fly fishing, like hunting, archery shoots, all that stuff. And believe it or not, a Model X is not the most conducive vehicle for those. So I had a truck before that. I actually had like a Dodge Ram Longhorn edition before that. The problem with that is it was like $800 a month in gas as a real estate agent before, and this was before gas prices went up. So I got the Model X thinking, okay, great, it had 3 rows of seats, and it was a 2016, so it was grandfathered in for free supercharging. So I was like, this will lower the bill a lot. Unfortunately, the mechanics bill was up a lot on that particular one. But when I got rear-ended, I thought, okay, what's going to be the next most conducive vehicle? So I did some research. Thought maybe I'd go back to a truck. I looked it up, and the Jeep Gladiator got like 22 miles to the gallon, which is a pretty good. You know, I watched the YouTube videos. It looks like this is an actual gas mileage it does really get, according to the people who are using it day to day. And thought, all right, I'll go the other opposite way. And it's kind of nice because before, my wife, she didn't drive the Ram, she didn't drive the Tesla, but she loves driving the Gladiator. And the boys love it. I'm getting a cap so we can put the dogs in. It can tow a trailer up to 5,000 pounds. So it's going to be a lot more conducive for day-to-day use. So that's how I arrived. It's a lot more analog than the other version. It does take a little while. Like, it does take a while if the car's driving you around a lot to get back and used to, like, I got to pay attention
so
a
you
lot
had
more.
you had full auto pilot.
It had assisted, but the assisted was so damn good, and there's so many highways around here that you get on the road and you're just,
wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever nap?
Never napped. Almost fell asleep once, but never napped.
Passed out once, but that's different.
Great built-in DD.
Get me home, Elon.
Elon, take the wheel.
I can't cue it up right now. Jesus, take the wheel. All right, that's great. No, my in-laws just got a Tesla. I haven't been in it yet. I think in Uber I've been in one. I haven't driven one yet, but
They're fun. They're great. They're great vehicles.
great torque.
I'd get the truck if that came out soon enough at the right price point.
How are the insurance rates on those?
On the Teslas?
Yeah.
I mean, they're no different, but I'm not joking. That's why the rates are just going
just
up.
in general.
Yeah, just in general. Yeah. I mean, the insurance rates aren't They look at the replacement cost of the vehicle, so that can be the same as a nice Cadillac, right? They just look, but
That's a great sound.
Wow, that was loud.
We should have got
That
that.
was
in
We had
there.
4 mics on that.
That was great.
that
I'm
was
gonna have to-
perfect. But
He's switching.
it's the situations like this. It's not even just the Teslas, even just your regular gas cars. There's so many sensors in the bumper. There's no more putting some hot water on it and banging it out.
Right.
So
I
you
gotcha.
get a fender bender. It's $10,000.
All right, here's the question. Hailstorms coming in.
Don't say the H word.
Do I back my car out of the garage? What's my play?
nice.
What's my play?
Depends. Are you with Geico?
No.
Let's say he's got Jake from State Farm.
Are you
Jake from
trying to
State
get
Farm.
rid of your car?
Is it a play?
Yeah, we don't say the H word in our industry.
It's a bad word.
It's a bad word.
Yeah, you don't make money on claims.
No.
Yeah, so it sounds like,
That's a ring endorsement for me to
yeah.
take it out of the garage.
take it out of the garage.
That's what it sounded like to me.
I hope you post this though after you do it. Otherwise, this can be evidence submitted somewhere.
Don't share this with your adjuster.
You guys,
Wait a second.
You guys ever listen to like classic radio? Like Sirius XM has that classic radio channel, and they have yours truly, Johnny Dollar, which is the insurance investigator with an expense account. Like that's the
Oh, wow.
tagline for the show.
Wow.
He would be
See, that's a
on.
good tagline.
He would be on your ass.
Oh
It
yeah.
would be all over it.
Why was your garage empty, Wes?
It's just very unkept, and there was just kid shit everywhere, and then I couldn't fit the car in there.
That's believable.
Is that? I mean, you know my house.
I know your house. Well, no, I mean, what I would do is drive it over to RCC.
Yeah,
no
I
garage
was
there.
Working at the golf course.
Working
There you
golf
go.
course.
Yeah.
During a hailstorm.
Golf ball size hail. In fact,
We
they
were
had
packed.
dimples. Yeah.
I can't condone any of this. I'm
Have
sorry.
you had any one try to pull a fast one on you yet? You know what I'm saying? Like
You know
like this
what?
seems
Not
a little
from
fishy.
A claim standpoint, but it's funny today. I had
Or in your previous life at
yeah. I don't think I've ever had a I feel like I have a good relationship with my clients where they can tell me the truth and just say like, this is what happened. What do we do? But I've had
We'll
one
figure it out behind
Yeah.
the scenes, and then we'll come up
How are we gonna fuck the insurance
Right,
company on
you're
this,
right.
though, Steve?
yeah, you get out fine. Just the insurance company.
The I've had one total loss from a house fire so far in my 7 years. I've had one in Whitesboro. But to your point about has anyone tried to? I was on a call with a new prospect buying a new home. Got a referral from a mortgage partner of mine. Go through my questions, and part of the question is there? Do you have any dogs? And you may be seeing in the news and all that the dog now they can't discriminate against the type of dog. So if you have a pit bull, they cannot discriminate from an insurance standpoint that you have a pit bull, but they can decline it because it's an increase in liability. So they
Oh,
can't.
wow.
They cannot
Okay,
decline
I
it
see.
because of the dog, but they can increase it because anyway. So I still have to ask the questions, and I don't care if you have a pit bull. I'm just doing my job and ask questions. So I usually, if they have it and no, they're like, well, you don't need to ask me that anymore. It's like, well, no, anyways, literally 2 hours.
People know their rights. Pit bull rights.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's like, listen, I could care less. It's just what direction are we going in as far as me. Literally 2 hours ago, this guy calls in. So-and-so sent me over. I'm buying a new house over here. Good. I'm going through the questions, and I can hear he's in the car. And I go, do you have a dog? And there was a pause. And he said no. And from the back seat, a 3-year-old goes, yes, we do, Daddy.
Oh, my.
I'm like, oh, my. And I just didn't say anything.
Damn
I'm like,
kids
okay.
come blowing the
I
spot.
was going to ask you, what was your reaction to that?
I was like, okay. I
press
just kept
through?
going. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just kept going. I noted it and just.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. He's like, no. Yes, we do, Daddy. We have a dog.
Oh yeah, Jimmy, what kind of dog
Right,
you
yeah,
got?
Yeah, right.
It is a fluffy dog that is, a toy. Yes, you
Yeah,
do have
yes,
a dog.
The battery.
Yeah,
one.
the battery.
The
It
breed.
barks. It does flips.
No, from this claim standpoint, though, Wes, your question, like, we don't write the check.
Mm-hmm.
So we just kind of facilitate it, and the adjusters. I was talking.
They
to
do the investigation.
Yeah, they do
if
the
there's anything,
investigation and
yeah.
all that, and they got their. I can draw my own opinions, but that's just worth what it is.
Do they ever ask you?
Not
what
really,
you
because we
think?
just input the information to get it started, and then it goes to them, and then they'll call and do their interviews or, their preliminary or whatever they need to do. So, it really just depends the mood of the adjuster you get. Everyone's like, "Oh, X, Y, and Z company is terrible. Stay away from them. They don't pay claims." It's like, look, every company pays claims. It just depends who you get with the adjuster and your specific situation. So,
The old adjuster.
right, Will?
Mine was mean.
All comes down to the
That was the
adjuster.
other company.
Yeah, she was mean. My adjuster was mean.
She doesn't represent you. That's the problem.
That is the problem. Yeah, but now
She saw right through that fake
She
deer
saw
hair.
that Tesla. Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's one of my inventions, by the way. I want to have is a little kit that you buy that has some deer hair, some deer blood in it. And you have it in your glove box. So if you do take out a mailbox on your way home after a tough night, you can stuff a little bit of that in, then you're
That
off the
sounds
hook.
like a great idea.
What do you think about that?
Due to my profession, I probably shouldn't help you invest in that, but maybe one of these gentlemen.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Forget the airport. We're going this direction.
Yeah, right.
This is why I partner with Wes. He's
The,
just
the
always
deer
thinking.
are everywhere, right? I mean, October, November, do you get a lot of those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they jump right out in front of you, just like the half pipe in front of Will's 360. Same problem.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, it's a good show.
I'm looking forward to that video. I
show.
gotta be honest. I'm looking forward to that video.
It's gonna be a great video. I'm gonna nail it. I'm gonna visualize, and then I'm gonna actualize, and then I'm gonna land it.
You know, if we were really good, we would have we would record 2 reactions right now because we'll have the video playing like here. One, he lands it. We're like, oh shit, he made it. And then the other one's like, oh, yard
No,
sale.
we're just doing the first reaction. just doing the first one.
Confidence level is high then.
Future Will, you did so great at this trick. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. I'm very proud of you.
I want to be.
Did you go like rock and jump to practice, sit in the foam pit or anything, or no?
Nope. I just
Or
watched.
whatever the hell it's called now.
I
They
just
kicked him out of there. They were like, "Get out of here."
So,
Oh boy.
no, I'm not telling the story.
Do you have a rock and jump story?
Wait, there's a rock and jump story. How do we not? We need the exclusive.
Any story with
Yeah.
I think
trampolines
that
and
might
foam
be the
pits?
first
Gotta
time
be
that I
good.
saw. I think that might be the first time that I saw a thought enter your mind, and then physically watch you make a good decision about not saying it. This might be the first
we do
time I've
edit.
seen that.
We do edit. We do support bad decisions.
Yeah, we're gonna be turning off the mics and cameras for that one. That one's.
Are you incriminating yourself with this one?
Let's put it this way: there's only one person who knows the truth of what happened that day, and that person's me, and I'm taking it to my grave.
That's all right.
You know, I thought we had our intro to our podcast.
I
and
thought
then
that was
it
gonna be a
just
lead-in right there.
swooped in, just took it out from underneath us.
Maybe
Yeah.
it is, and we just bait everyone, but he never tells us the story.
Oh, that's a
that's
good one,
fine
too.
too. I'm not above a bait switch. You know, that's all right.
Yeah,
Clickbait, man.
yeah. You know, they say an angry audience listens longer.
So how I was on your podcast, probably it's got to be a year, at least a year now.
He's just over a year.
So
Just
you were the
over a
last
year.
episode before we took a break. Actually, went back and looked at that.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna. So I was wondering what's the play? Are you guys? First of all, how did it come up? What was the goal? And then where are you now with it? What's
We're the type of people who just come up with an idea and then just do it and think about everything else as we go.
Afterwards,
okay.
Yeah. So the plan was, actually, this is gonna be a good segue. You guys ever watch South Park? You ever see the Underpants Gnomes episode when they're like, first, get underpants. Second step.
Getting
Third step, get money. that's the summation of Stephen and mine's career. First step, this. Second step, no fucking clue. Third step, get money.
We'll monetize it later.
No fucking clue. Fourth
Yes. We should really start with how we're going to get money and then work backwards. We haven't figured that out yet, though.
God, I feel like Wes is.
If you build it, they will come. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
out
we're
there,
still a lot of people. We're still building, but we started thinking all we really want to do is highlight the businesses and the things going on and the people of this area. We thought, if nothing else, all we want to do is bring awareness to everything we see that's really fucking cool in our area. And after that, we have no idea what we're doing.
Well, let me actually
I love the
answer your
honesty.
question, Brad.
Very candid over here.
I love it.
Let me actually answer your question.
I think it's
Brad.
time for another round. What do you
Yeah, I
think?
know. Well, we got bottles.
You can ask Steven, like
No.
he said. He saw. That's the first time in my life a thought came into my mind
Yeah,
of
I'm
something to say, and I
impressed.
didn't say
I mean,
it.
I almost felt it. I mean, he's like, no, I'm not saying
If you
that.
can cut that clip out and send it to me, I appreciate it.
Sure,
'Cause I'm
absolutely.
gonna
No, well,
put
I
that
got
up
a
on
close
the
up
wall.
over here.
Yeah.
We'll
People
get it.
study that.
Yeah.
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 But what actually, so Will was doing kind of his own thing. I was doing kind of my own thing with my family agency that I was working for at the time. I was doing kind of a thing where you'd sit down with a business owner, talk for 2-3 minutes, just quick introduction. Here's who Brad is, whatever. Will was doing live at lunch through Bradley and Bradley. And we were basically like, hey, let's just try this together. And to his point, exactly, like the most amazing part is like we've just done it basic. It's a Zoom call that goes to Facebook Live, and that's it. and like people have jumped onto it. So I believe we're episode 52, where we were specific, or about a year. We were going straight through, and then took a little hiatus when I left and started the business. And we got, what did we start a month ago? Started back up.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had like 15 or so people that logged on live and were staying the whole time. And the objective for me was just to have the show be the connector of people.
Yeah.
And bring people together, learn about their stories. You know, and it's been super cool. Like we've had.
Was Brad's the fewest viewed,
You're such a dick.
most poorly viewed episode you had? Come on, tell us.
I'd have to go back and look. I'm sorry.
That sounds like a yes.
He's been giving me Utica Club for the last 2 hours.
It's-
I'm not
and
answering
it's-
that question.
It's an interesting thing because I had a podcast before I got into real estate, and it was all about archery and backcountry hunting. And I think it might still be up somewhere. It had like a few 100,000 views, something like that.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I've interviewed in the archery community probably everyone there is that's notable, but it's more exciting now because this is all part of like a world, a little community world. I think more like this Central New York's like a whole world. Like if you love it here, you get trapped in it, and you just do everything you can for it. And that to me is the most exciting thing. Is now we're in a place where my family's coming up, and we're actually doing something to make it better. Whereas with the archery one, it was just for me. It was fun for me. I had a co-host. It was fun for him until he got too busy with life and family. And then actually once he left, it wasn't that much fun anymore. And I realized like all that was just something fun to do. Whereas now we're actually doing things where people see us in the community. And like he said, it's exciting to have 5 people live, but I know like a few hundred will watch it later, and they will come up and talk about something we talked about. And you're almost like, how the fuck? Oh, we record this.
Oh, yeah.
we
It's coming back to you.
That's going to happen to you. People are going to feel like they know you or they know things about you. And you're like, how the fuck do you know that?
That's the wildest thing. Episode 5, I can't even remember the actual episode, but I know this guy commented on it. I remember I was at a chamber after hours, and he came up to me. I had no idea who he was. I knew I knew of him, but never met him. And he was like, "Hey, so and so, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "When you said this on your show, like it just really hit me, and I really appreciated that." And I'm like, "You're watching the show?" and like I called Will. I'm like,
And you were listening?
I didn't think we turned the cameras
Yeah.
on.
Someone other than my mom's watching this show. It's
Hey, Mom.
phenomenal.
So I mean, it's been. I mean, we got like 900 followers on the Facebook page, which has been good. And like, honestly, the coolest part about it is like just the more simple we've done it. We just send out a Zoom link, we jump on Zoom call, share it to Facebook, and just go.
Yeah, well, Brad's all about simple, as you can see. So we got that.
Well, it's funny you were mentioning about the whole like make money later. I knew as I was building this that Wes is like, we're spending money. We haven't even done anything.
Yeah.
Like, but I am one of those people.
That's why we're a good team. That's why we're a good
yeah,
team.
that's why that's true. That is true. You'll be like,
yeah.
hey, I really think we should do this, but I was like, yeah, but we can see this, and then we kind of, you kind of hash
Sure.
it out, and that's why we've always worked. But the other thing, well, we'll go back to that. But the point of this whole podcast was to, as I mentioned before we started, my news team is getting answers to specific questions. They're usually well thought out answers from even mayors or whoever, because they, even though it's live, they'll kind of know what we're going to ask or whatever, and it's very
Calculated.
Yeah. And here, allows us to, a reason why we just kind of let it float and see where it goes is because we can unpack things. If there's something that comes up, and we hope to have Jackie Izzo and Jeff Flanagan and whoever's in the mayoral race, and hopefully the same thing for the Utica race as well, is that maybe we stay on a topic for 20 minutes or a half hour to unpack it. Because some of the times you only get a couple lines, but that doesn't tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't give you what you need. And then you get to see a personality. And we're seeing it in recruitment all the time that when people don't get candidates sending their resume because they've already interviewed you, they don't like you. They're doing their interview before even the interview. They're checking out your Facebook page, they're checking out your social, they're checking out any videos you've done, any podcasts you've done. Right. What is the company doing? Who worked for you on LinkedIn? Then I'll talk to them. And then if they like all that, then they'll submit a resume. Then they'll talk to you. So this is what we're working on our team, is like really helping people with their social media and kind of telling their story before they have to tell it. And that's the flip of the script that's happened over the past 5-6 years with social and everything. It's like, we could do our research on you guys just by watching your podcast. We don't even have to talk to you. We're like, all right, these are the questions they asked. These are what their interests were. I knew about the hunting and all that stuff that you do. So we don't even have to meet, and I know maybe half of your your life story, which has changed, and that happens. That translates over to the business side of things when you're interviewing for a company, which is cool. You guys are both very active in your social media, which is great. We're stepping it up. That's why I hired Morgan. Don't tell her.
That's what she does here.
We're still questioning. Hey, Morgan, where are you? You should be behind the cameras taking pictures right now.
Where's Morgan?
Where's Morgan? No, which is the
I
name
was
of
here
our,
since Christmas.
I know.
Yeah.
That is the name of our group text with her. Where's Morgan?
It's also interesting, like what you do and what will catch on. Like you could do something and spend a lot of time on it, a lot of thought of it, and it goes nowhere. And then I was doing this series because Paul Sacco, for any of you who knows who he is, he's a legend, local legend in the real estate industry, and he was doing Hot Tub Tuesdays. And I thought, oh, this is fun. I should do something, but I'm going to do something that's easier to do that
With
I
your
do
shirt
every
on?
week. With my shirt on, and I
Perfect,
thought
yeah.
I'll do something with the kids because I want to do something with the kids. So when I look back,
Yeah, Hot Tub Tuesday with kids is kind of a tough one.
that was
It's a tough look.
that gets
Tough
weird
look,
real fast.
Yeah, I would probably flash that one.
And so I thought, one thing I do every week, and they join me a lot of times, is I
Overtime.
take out the trash.
Overtime.
So all I did is start live
Check out the
streaming
Trash Thursdays.
Tuesday.
Oh.
No, it's trash talk, and it happened on Sunday nights. And so every Sunday night we go live, and I just interview them while we took out the trash. To this day, if we're out somewhere and someone sees me that they know, they'll be like, "Hey, what's going on with trash talk? What's happening?" I haven't done it since we moved, maybe.
I like that.
Almost a year ago.
Trash
Yeah,
talk.
Trash talk. They always ask about trash talk. When's trash talk coming back? Hey, I saw you guys, and I'm with the kids. I saw you guys on trash talk. What's going on?
Yeah, you got to bring that back.
I love the name.
The problem is it's Thursday. I'm gonna have to talk to the rubbish people about getting them to move to Sunday.
Oh, that's right. You were doing it on Sunday nights.
Yeah, that was easy. The Sunday was easy, but now Thursday nights. It usually happens like late Thursday night. Kids go down around 7:30. By the time I'm walking the
You're
dogs,
saying
when I do
people
it, it's
don't
like
want
8:30.
to see you out there at 10:30 at night taking the trash by
No,
yourself?
the kids don't want to stay up till 10:30.
No,
to take
I'm saying
trash
the
out.
viewers. I'm saying the viewers don't want to just see you walking around there at 10:30.
No, that would be a dumb show. They have no interest in watching me quietly, shamefully walk my trash to the end of the driveway.
be
Whereas
interesting.
the kids are the stars. I'm just camera equipment. I'm really just holding it.
Is it
love
bad
that.
when the trash you take out, it's just all empty booze bottles? Is it a
Like
bad
a lot
look?
of clinky going on in the way.
You know,
to the-
there's been a lot of high noons.
He's got a
lately.
problem.
A lot of high noons. Those are nice. The tequila ones have been pretty
Yeah.
good. Those are delicious.
oh yeah.
Are they
the
serving them
tequila's
over at
sweet.
the Rome?
We
Country
do have
Club?
high noons now, yes.
Oh,
We're
We got
Cool.
hey, just
Segue.
for the record, there are high noons behind you. So if you want to
what
dabble
am I
in a high
drinking
noon-
this stuff for?
No, we got some high noons in play if you need them. But I'm very proud of Wes because
Because he ordered the high noons.
well,
He pressures me into
the
it.
alcohol game has improved at RCC. So we at least get some bullet bourbon. I can get it on rocks now. I'm not drinking some.
Yeah, see, he's fancy. Most of my crowd is give
Old
me a-
Crow.
Well, it's more like Old Mill Blue, Old
Evan,
Mill
Williams, Evan Williams, on
even
the
Old Mill
rocks.
Red, So that's a lot of my crowd, which is great, and I love him. Then there's Brad, but we got to cater to Brad a little bit.
Yeah, he's probably used to that like a country club vibe. I
Yeah.
imagine.
I'm not paying for shit over there, Wes. All right.
Excuse me.
You Brad a few natty daddies. He'll be good.
Yeah, you got to toughen him up.
Hey, for the record,
What about at school
equal
at St.
opportunity.
John Fisher? Like, what do they do out there? Out that away?
Oh, we have
forgot
two.
about
We have
Yeah,
two
we
alumnus.
we got some
Yeah.
university now.
That's right. University.
St. John Fisher University.
School for alcoholics.
I know it's not American, but
It is something.
it is something. No, we
Was it a 30 rack at
What's,
Keystone?
It was
wait,
more- it
explain
was-
explain the difference for the dummies in the room, Wes and I. What's
there's
the
really
difference between a
nothing.
university and college?
Nothing.
not much.
I
Usually,
think actually it's type of course.
20 grand
Yeah,
more a
so-
semester.
I feel
No.
like university.
it has to do with graduate. I think
Graduate
it's more
level.
graduate level stuff. So
Yeah, they have
like a
grad-
university
grad
has a certain set of it's a graduate advancements than before, and
College is just
college is just
undergrad,
undergrad. Yeah,
I think.
yep. But we could have made that up. But we're gonna
That's going to lead the show, that explanation. That was gripping.
no.
Yeah, mark the time for the
we're-
edit.
Yeah.
Fisher, Rochester in general was more about the garbage plates than the alcohol. The garbage plates that's the staple.
Was the
Fairport
let me
Hots
ask. Let's
or-
ask this. Was it the same garbage plate for both of you? Was it the same go-to place, or was there different places?
Fairport Hots.
Pepper Hots.
Same place.
Same place.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm glad we got that settled.
I am too. Let me ask you this: what's the place to go to in Rome What's the go-to meal? And I'm not talking like, oh, we're gonna get some fancy high-end meal. I'm like, you're hungover. Midway through the day, you're like, all right, I think I can stomach some food, but I'm gonna need something delicious. Where are we going?
RCC.
No.
Yeah, you're just gonna go back to Retox and go right to the bar. Run Country Club. No food allowed.
I got to say, DiMattio's Burger is kind of in my play.
Yeah.
That would probably be, equal opportunity throughout Rome. But DiMattio's, I grab a burger there, I kind of regroup, and of course continue cocktailing right there.
Regroup.
Retox. As we've learned, that's the saying I'll be taking with me from this show.
Well, listen to your
What's
itinerary the rest of the afternoon. Sounds like you're in great shape.
That'll be a fun day.
I was gonna say, what's the play if I'm in my Utica office struggling? What's the go-to?
If you're downtown, Golden's, I'm going to say if you're going a little early, it's going to get busy. Lunchtime and later, Golden's is fantastic. But if you're needing to coming off, the train, it's maybe a little too delicious. Actually, they're all delicious, so I don't know what I'm saying there. But there's a lot of options downtown now, and that's probably one of the most exciting things because Steven and I are located like 2 blocks from each other in downtown Utica. And I'm going to give you a quick list of just spots to hit if you have not hit them yet in downtown Utica. These are well worth going to, whether you're coming off a hangover or you're totally sober. Check out Golan's. Check out Nonabi. Check out Pho Mi Kong. And I'm going to give you a dish recommendation there. At Pho Mi Kong, you're going to want to get the drunken noodles with chicken. At Nonabi, I would go pork belly, garlic rice, bento box, and they have side options. You can get dumplings with pork.
Hope you're writing this down.
But I go double dumplings with pork.
It's recorded. Somebody playing this back.
I don't mess around with the fries or beans or whatever the other options are. I go double pork dumplings on the side. They have a nice little sauce they give you there. And then just yesterday, I went to Roosters, which is a burger place. They have 3 different burger options, and then you can get fries, nuggets, or might have been
Is that a place across from the pawn shop? The new place?
No, we'll get to that. That's Brooklyn
place, right?
Brothers Best Biscuit. I think that's how you pronounce it, and
That might be up
that's
my alley.
phenomenal as well. We'll get into that because I think they're coming out with a new dish too. Roosters.
I think we're finding a future podcast, by the way.
Right.
It's coming alive right
Food
now.
review.
Yeah, Roosters will do a chopped cheese version of the burger, which is they have the burger, they have the cheese all on there, and they chop it up with all the stuff that would go on the burger, and then they put it on like a Philly cheesesteak bun.
Oh, okay.
Right, and yesterday's special was like a fig style bacon jam burger, and it was phenomenal.
Wes doesn't cook. He has no idea what you're talking about, but it's okay.
I don't cook either, but I eat a lot.
Delicious.
I eat a lot.
That
Sounds delicious.
From there, like Steven had mentioned, Brooklyn Brisket Brothers, or it might be Brooklyn. I don't know. There's a lot of B's in it.
Easy for you to
a
say.
lot of alliteration going on.
Yeah, a lot of alliteration. And I hear they're going to be doing, and I kind of special order it when I go, I like to get the rice, their Spanish rice, or dirty rice they call it, with just their chopped up brisket on top. That's and some cheese. That's my go-to meal there. And then there's always a phenomenal, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, there's always a phenomenal hot dog special.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, at Griffin's. Go to Griffin's for the hot dog specials.
2 dogs, a bag of chips, and a soda for $5.
You can't beat that. I don't know how you beat that. You can't beat that. If you're in the mood for sushi, of course, you go up the street. You hit up Lotus Garden. That's been a staple. That's been around. That's pretty well known for a while. Anything after that, we're kind of getting out of like the downtown proper area.
We are getting out of downtown, but I have to share an experience. If you want an experience, you go to Rick's Famous Burgers with Will.
Well, it's only an elevator right away.
So just tell Will you want to meet him there for lunch.
Yeah, I'll show you the order.
He'll get one of everything on the menu and put it on the same bun. You'll never see anything like it in your entire life.
That's the go-to.
It's unbelievable.
I don't follow the constraints.
I just don't understand the physics of this.
Yes.
Like
everything goes in the same bun.
Yeah, you don't want to follow the constraints of the menu. That's my thing. It's like I like things.
Walk us through it, Will.
I no longer go to restaurants or to bars and like ordering off the menu. This is something
Just
I
like
learned on a
pissing the
trip.
cook
I
off.
just say they're like
Cheer that asshole.
not really, because a lot of times you walk people get bored doing the same orders and things over and over again. So you walk in, you're like, I was going to get to this. If you're going to cocktails, you're going to want to hit Gerber's, Nostro, Ocean Blue, all great spots. If you're looking for a little more casual vibe, you can go Swifties downtown. But what I like to do is walk in and hit them with, oh, what do you want? Dealer's choice. I really don't care what comes, how it comes. Whatever you want to make tonight, make that, send that out. That's what I like to do.
Walk us through the.
We should have led with that today. I feel like that's the whole podcast right there.
Food.
It's me easy to edit this one.
That is true. Well, do you know his father used to own Swifties?
There you go. Who owns it now? Anyone know?
Dave Woods runs it,
Dave.
but
Okay.
yeah, on the
That was his
the
first
building,
bar
real
spot.
estate.
That was your first job, one of your first bar jobs too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
257, 257
Swift, I
days.
didn't mention Swifties on the food, but they should definitely get like their appetizers. What is the what's the the shit?
What?
Oh, this.
What kind of podcast
the
is
Reuben,
this?
the Reuben,
What is he doing?
the Reuben.
The people on the radio.
Blur
yelling,
that out.
What is
Blur
he
that
doing
out,
with his
Brad.
hand? Yeah. it was-
Is it Reuben egg rolls? Is that what they do with Swifties?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
they're just
Oh, egg rolls.
fantastic.
yeah.
Well,
The
you
Reuben
still
egg
need to
rolls.
walk us through the Rick's famous.
Oh, the Rick Famous order.
Step by
Okay,
step,
so you go
please.
in,
I'm terrified.
The-
How do they even charge you for this?
you just pay one for it. That's
They
the
keep
thing. You
playing.
can't worry
They
about
keep
that.
playing the piano.
You can't worry about the bill. So, and it's not really everything. It's really three things and then sauces. So you get the cheeseburger, you get the chicken sandwich, which is really just chicken nuggets on the buns, and then you get the cheese fries. And so the chicken tendies go on the burger, and then the cheese fries go on the tendies, and then bun it up.
Wow.
And the best part is he'll order
Bun
all
it
separate
up.
and then make it himself. And you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
watch
I
the
mean,
same.
would I trust anyone else with this?
Oh,
order?
you don't put them on the task
no,
of
no, no.
constructing.
No, I
You
can-
want
You
that.
just do this.
Yeah, because there's a certain way.
Your
if you-
background's in
We should've-
construction, though, right?
We should have
Yeah.
led with that because I'm going to go up to the counter and be like, hey, I need you to put tendies, and then I want the cheese fries.
What do you mean you can't do
But
this? This
lead
guy
with the
Will
burger.
told me. He told me he
lead with
does
the
it all the time.
Can I get the Will Bradley special?
I was going to say, can you ask
Yeah.
for it by name?
Francis, if you're listening
Yeah,
to this, we're
Francis.
going to need that added to the menu. Yeah, and the great thing, here's the other great thing too, is like it's a lot of food. So if you're not that hungry and if you place the tendies correctly, you can perfectly cut it in half.
Oh, yeah.
and take
right,
half to
I
go.
was going to say, thank God I have a couch in my office. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm not going to be able to
this
function
isn't the
after
meal
this.
for afternoon meetings.
Jeez. I really do appreciate this, guys. This has been fun.
Thanks for having
This
us.
has been a good time.
It was fun.
Pleasure.
Pleasure. Cheers.
I got nothing left, but
All right, we got more in the fridge. Cheers, guys. Thanks again.
Cheers.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining, and we'll do this again soon.